And the first issue at birth is trust. Do you trust your caregiver? Do you trust this world? Do you trust anything? And he found out he couldn't trust me. And, and even as a young man, he would, if you approached him, he would flinch, like stay away. And I finally told him when he was about 10 what had happened. And he was very, very logical. And he said, well, Mom, it's really great to know where I got it, but what do I do about it? And at the time, I was just a mom. I wasn't a therapist at all. And I said, John, I don't know, but I do know that it isn't who you are. It isn't, it's something that happened to you, but
Mm.
it isn't natural, and you don't need to repeat it if you don't want to, because it was just a mistake that was really made, and nobody picked it up for months, and you suffered, but it isn't who you are, and that was all I knew what to do then. I wish I had him now and I could talk to him about it, because there's so much more I could say. But so he suffered there, and he's suffered through a lot of different things, and
You know,
growing.
just to talk about that just a little bit more, I don't know that I ever thought about that or knew. I mean, you hear about babies who are not held and nurtured when they're young and they're detached and so many sad things can happen. But trust, wow. I don't know. Like I wouldn't have thought of that. Like I didn't know that. And how how sad. I mean, as a mom, to find out you've been hurting your baby unknowingly, completely unknowingly, of course. And so what did they do to fix things so that he could heal?
Well, he said the lump was the bone starting to heal on its own, and he just said stay off of it, and let that just naturally heal. And I did, and it did. And he seemed to overcome it, but like I said, his body would flinch away from touch. You couldn't get, it just no, there's this definite no. And so, it still resonated with him, whether it was conscious or not. And it really colored a lot, because it turns out that the first issue of life, which is trust or mistrust, however, if that resolves in the negative, like it did with him, it really predicts for suicide later on.
Oh, wow.